It started as a smile at a street market, the kind you toss to a friendly vendor while summer air sticks to your forearms. Your partner lingered in a short chat, and your chest tightened like a fist. If you're here for managing jealousy in multicultural relationships, you already know how a harmless moment can feel like a secret storm. The question is what to do with that weather when it rolls through. On the walk home, the city hummed, bus brakes sighing, a kid's scooter rattling over sidewalk seams, a food truck bell chiming like it knew a joke. Your thoughts piled up, fast and sharp. Were they flirting? Am I overreacting? Is this normal where they're from? Jealousy is loud when you're alone with it. We talk about nights like this on Whispered Hearts. English because culture teaches us different definitions of friendly, private, and loyal. In some homes, hospitality means extra words and warm eye contact. In others, warmth is reserved for inner circles only. Neither is wrong. They just rub until a couple learns the rhythm that fits both hearts. But there's something even quieter shaping your reactions before you speak. Trust styles grow from early lessons. Who we sat beside at dinner, how our caregivers handled goodbyes, how our communities read kindness in public. Research shows we protect what feels scarce. Therapists report that naming the fear under jealousy, loss, embarrassment, invisibility, softens the spikes. Have you noticed which fear shows up first for you? Culture doesn't just decorate life, it scripts it. Some families encourage opposite-gender friendships with easy laughter and long stories. Others draw bright lines at small talk and physical distance. Some celebrate group hangs late into the night. Others prioritize early evenings and family-first weekends. If you don't name the script, jealousy will write its own. Here's the curiosity that flips the story. What if jealousy isn't a verdict on your relationship, but a signal that something needs designing? Signals want attention, not punishment. When you shift from who's wrong to what's our design, you move from courtroom to workshop. What would change if you treated this feeling like a design meeting for your future? We started with a simple map. We each circled 3 moments that made us feel safest, and 3 that stirred worry. You named quick replies and clear plans as anchors. I named affectionate introductions in public and post-event debriefs as steadying. We didn't chase blame. We chased patterns. Which small pattern would calm your nervous system this week? But there's something even softer that helps before any rule is set. Tone. Short sentences, long breaths. I felt a twist in my stomach when you stayed in that conversation. I want to understand what friendly means for you. I want us to protect our peace. The goal isn't to win, it's to get on the same side of the table. Trust is built differently across cultures. In some places, trust equals consistency, same routines, same greetings, same bedtime. In others, trust equals inclusion, bringing your partner into the orbit of friends, family, community. And for many, trust equals transparency, open phones, open calendars, open context. Which flavor did you grow up tasting? Have you noticed how jealousy shouts louder when there's silence on the basics? Decide the everyday things before the big temptations. Who are your core friends? What does checking in look like on a busy night? How do you introduce each other in new circles? Basics aren't boring. They're bumpers for sharp turns. But there's something even more stabilizing than rules. Rituals. We built a weekly "What are we protecting?" walk in the crisp winter air, breath puffing like small lanterns. We asked 2 questions. Where did you feel loved this week? And where did your stomach tighten? Answers turned into tiny design tweaks, A heads-up text, a boundary with a co-worker, a hug before we split off at a party so we both knew the thread was intact. A communication is the bridge, but it needs planks you can step on. We made scripts we could actually speak, even with shaky voices. I'm not accusing. I'm asking for context. I want to stay close to you at events until I settle in. I need a goodbye kiss before you start long conversations. Scripts don't kill spontaneity. They save it for better moments. Research shows bodies talk before mouths do. Therapists report that jealousy often shows up as tight shoulders, shallow breaths, and fast eyes. We learn to catch the body cues early. Hand to chest, breath to belly. Pause with me. We would step outside under spring rain scent and count 5 cars passing. The world got bigger. The feeling got smaller. Here's a small retention check-in. Have you noticed the one sentence your partner hears best when they're spiraling? What would it sound like if it were only 6 words long? Try it out loud now, even just a whisper. But there's something even quieter holding love together than any sentence. Repair. One night, I snapped about a joke you shared with someone new at a friend's birthday. You froze. I retreated. The room felt colder than the AC. 10 minutes later, we tried our repair recipe on the porch. Safety. Same team. Empathy. You felt accused in public. I felt invisible. Action. Next time, we'll tag each other in before inside jokes with new people. Repair doesn't erase, it stitches. Opposite gender friendships carried different weights for us. Your culture valued mixed friend groups and easy banter. Mine valued same-gender closeness and boundaries that signaled commitment. We didn't choose one as right. We blended. You agreed to early introductions and context before hangouts. I agreed to greet your friends with warmth instead of suspicion. The air got kinder. Public interactions needed a gentle tune-up. In crowded rooms, you touch my elbow first, a quiet anchor, before you greet others. When a conversation stretches, I step in, you loop me in, and we decide together if we stay. It looks small from the outside. It feels like safety from the inside. Social media was louder than we expected. We set guidelines that respected both cultures. No private messages after certain hours without context. No inside jokes in comments that leave one of us guessing. When in doubt, we share the story behind a tag or a DM. Transparency turns shadows into hallway lights. But there's a deeper layer, and it's about meanings, not moments. In your family, friendliness is dignity. In mine, exclusivity is intimacy. When we named that, jealousy lost a costume. It wasn't about who you spoke to. It was about what attention means and where it belongs. We learned to aim our best energy home, on purpose. Have you noticed which tiny habit would make the biggest difference if you repeated it for a month? A text when you arrive. A hand squeeze before you step away. A nightly check-in with one proud moment and one tender need. Consistency beats intensity in matters of trust. But there's something even more important when jealousy springs from old wounds. You can love someone and still carry echoes from past relationships or family patterns. We treated those echoes kindly. This is not your fault, but it is ours to handle as a team. We paired personal care, journaling, therapy, prayer, movement, with couple care, calendars, scripts, rituals. Healing is work, but it's better with company. We set up green flags to watch for. Because the brain obsessed with danger needs reminders of safety. Green flags looked like introductions that include us, invitations to join instead of excuses, quick replies that respect time zones and schedules, and the unsexy magic of following through. Green flags didn't make jealousy vanish. They made trust louder. One summer evening, with warm porch boards under our feet, we built a jealousy map for events. Where do we stand when we arrive? What's our plan if one of us feels off? What's our exit script if the vibe goes weird? We practiced the lines like a fire drill. We're going to head out. Early day tomorrow. The plan let us relax enough to actually have fun. Therapists report that couples who pre-negotiate boundaries fight less about tone. We learned to make choices that served both cultures. Respectful distance in photos with new friends, affectionate greetings that include each other, humor that never pokes at insecurities. Choices like these aren't about control. They're about protecting the home you're building. Here's another retention hook for your next conversation. Which single boundary would make your partner feel protected without asking anyone else to shrink? Put it in one sentence. Will you try it this week? But there's something even quieter that steadies jealousy. Celebration. We made a habit of catching each other doing it right. I saw how you introduced me first. Thanks for the heads-up text before you stayed late. I noticed you wrapped that chat with a kind exit. Affirmation is fuel. It tells your nervous system, we keep choosing each other. Workplaces added a layer. Coffee chats, travel, late messages. We set bright lines with kindness. I don't do one-on-one dinners with colleagues after 9. Let's loop my partner into plans when we can. Here's a photo from the team so the faces have names. Professional doesn't mean secretive. It can be ethical and transparent. Family norms mattered too. Some relatives thought guarding boundaries meant distrust. Others saw openness as disrespect. We treated those opinions with gratitude and steel. Thank you for caring. Here's what keeps us strong. If a line got crossed, we named it once and changed the setting next time. Peace has preferences. We also noticed seasonal patterns. Autumn brought reunions and festivals where attention was everywhere, and we needed extra check-ins. In winter, holidays meant crowded rooms and old stories that pressed on old nerves. So we kept conversation shorter and gratitude longer. Spring made us social, which was beautiful but tiring. So we scheduled quiet after big weekends. Summer loosened schedules and expectations, which made boundaries feel easier to forget. Knowing the season helped us prepare the script. Research shows that gentle routines soothe anxious brains. We added small anchors to daily life. A morning kiss by the door, a shared lunch photo when possible, a good-night call even on travel days. These weren't surveillance. They were stitches. When the day pulled at the seam, the thread held. Jealousy sometimes tries to recruit contempt. We refused the invitation. No name-calling. No you always or you never. If the sentence needed those words, we were too hot to speak. We took a walk around the block, listened to the elevator ding, the neighbor's dog bark, the city breathe. Then we tried again with smaller words. But there's something even more healing than a second try. A shared why. We wrote one paragraph for our fridge. We protect each other's dignity. We honor both cultures. We speak up when something pinches. We believe closeness is built, not owed. On hard days, we touched the paper like a promise. Opposite gender friendships became easier when we participated. Double coffee instead of solo. Group game night instead of late one-on-ones. When solo time made sense, we named it and set clear edges. The goal wasn't to police. It was to make space where trust could keep breathing. We also made a privacy with kindness pact. We don't read each other's messages unless invited, and we offer context when it would soothe. If you ask for reassurance, I give it gladly. If I need space for a personal thought, you honor it. Autonomy and connection can share a room when you keep the air honest. Here's a retention moment you can use tonight. Ask each other, when do you feel most secure with me in public? Then ask, what's one small way I could show that to you this week? Keep answers short. Clarity is kind, but there's something even more practical that turns jealousy into growth. Debriefs. After events, we debrief in calm tones. What went well? Where did a moment pinch? What might we try different next time? We keep it to 10 minutes and end with one gratitude. Debriefs make the next room kinder. We didn't pretend jealousy is silly. It's old and protective. It wants to keep us from loss. We thanked it for caring and gave it a job. Tell us where we need design. Then we put it to bed with boundaries, transparency, and care. Emotions relax when you hire them instead of fighting them. One afternoon, a friendly neighbor overstepped with a flirty compliment. You saw my jaw tighten, excused us kindly, and asked how I was feeling before we rejoined. I exhaled like a balloon. You didn't treat my feeling like a problem to fix. You treated it like a person to be with. That's what security sounds like. We also used a tool that surprised us. Shared calendars with notes about social plans and context lines. Meeting friends from college, introducing you early. Work happy hour, home by 9. Family call, big holiday coming. Context takes jealousy's teeth away. It replaces guessing with ground. In the middle of all the logistics, we kept play alive. Inside jokes are anti-jealousy medicine. So are rituals like late-night ice cream on the stoop, a shared playlist for drives, and goofy dances in the kitchen while noodles boil. Jealousy doesn't stand a chance against a life that laughs often and out loud. Whispered hearts. English is your light-on porch for nights like these. Not a place for perfection, a place for repair, clarity, and ordinary joy. If this chapter meets you after a tense car ride or a long scroll that made your chest burn, you're not broken. You're building. How do you and your partner define trust? Tell us in the comments so someone else can borrow your sentence for their next hard room. Community makes courage cheaper, and courage is the best seasoning for a complicated life. As the seasons turn, spring rain cleaning the sidewalks, summer evenings warm and unhurried, autumn leaves crunching like quiet applause, winter air crisp enough to make your thinking clear. Keep practicing these tiny moves. Short sentences, long breaths, clear plans, gentle repairs. Love is a craft. Tonight, try one small design tweak, a check-in text before you go out, a hand squeeze that says, "I'm still here," a debrief with 2 truths and 1 gratitude. You'll feel the room relax around you. Your nervous systems will learn to trust the promise you keep repeating. Tomorrow, revisit 1 boundary that could use polish. Make it kinder and clearer. Tell each other how it protects your love rather than what it prevents. Boundaries built on care feel like hug lines, not fences. And when the next friendly smile comes from a stranger and your chest tightens, you'll have a path. You'll breathe, speak small truths, and stand on a design you built together. That is the patient, hopeful work of managing jealousy in multicultural relationships, and you are already doing it with care.